Hey, my name's Jeff Cutler. I'm here with Adam Zand. And one of the things we were talking about a moment ago was that people are all excited about some sporting sporting selection process. And it's not that Jacoby Ellsbury has been picked up by the Yankees, and it's not that the Patriots or Hatriots or whatever you want to call them have another game coming up. It's actually something called the World Bowl or the World Cup or something.
Coupe du Monde. Coupe
Yeah.
du Monde.
So explain this to me, Adam. Here on A Life of Play, we talk to people who do stuff that really grabs their passion in their spare time, and you're an aficionado of football, international football, and the World Cup selection process is actually going on right now, and you're like dialed in. What's going on?
Yeah, so I almost missed it. I was doing like silly Facebook things as I tend to do this time of day, and I was like, I wonder what time the draw is. So anyhow, today is sort of the culmination of a 2-year process of whittling down, I don't know, 300 nations around the world who play football. And today is the group stages where you determine which, well, how many fingers do I have? 8?
You get
Which,
yeah,
which
8 or 9.
yeah, 8 groups get filled up with countries from all over the place, and it's kind of fun if you watch ESPN tonight. The whole process of somebody like some famous person, usually a famous European person, dipping their hand into a fishbowl and picking it out, and it's all fixed. I mean, we know it's all fixed. I mean, let's jump into it, because here's a couple of observations. So you've got 8 groups, and you can't have too many teams from the same region. So it sort of makes it easier for, I don't know, like European powers, and easier for South American powers. And there's a risk, and we'll see that in a second, for countries like the USA and countries like Mexico and, I don't know, countries like England.
Okay.
My favorite team. So here's what I see. So there's Group A, which is the easy group because Brazil's in it. And Brazil will start off the World Cup against Croatia, and that'll be a good match, actually, because Croatia plays wide open and Brazil has a lot to prove. You know, they'll have to show that this is their time to get their 6th World Cup. No
Okay.
nations.
And you're giving letters and numbers. What's the deal? Is it a number group or a letter group? Because I've read some stuff on
Group
social media, and they've mentioned stuff about group
Group
X,
A.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So is it A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, or whatever? Or is
Yes,
it 1 through 8?
A through H, and Group A is the Brazil group.
Okay.
So,
And
so,
how many
so
people in a group? And then take us quickly through the World Cup. How many losses does a team have to get before they're going home to play golf? Or I guess internationally they call it golf.
So there's 3 other teams in your group. There's 4 to a group. So you theoretically you need there's 3 points for a win, 1 for a tie, 0 for a loss. So of course, if you win 3 games, you're going through automatically, right? Because you've
From a
crushed
math
every.
perspective, yeah, you've crushed everyone else.
But where it gets tricky, and why don't we jump into the U.S. group? How do I do this?
What are you going to do?
I'm pointing to the U.S. group. So Group
Well,
G.
I don't have it on my screen.
Well, you should be have 2 screens, Jeff, at all times. So Group G is very hard. Group G, and every World Cup has this. It's called the Group of Death, and it's very dramatic, isn't
Okay.
it? Group of Death.
Yeah.
And the reason it's the Group of Death, Group G, is Germany is number 1. They're seeded the highest because they've won a lot of World Cups and they have very good players.
Are
And
they always in Group G?
No, 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 no. You don't go by. No, no. That was fairly random, actually. This morning, I was kind of shocked that.
Okay,
Well, I
so
wasn't shocked.
the group of death could be A, if it had all the tough teams in it.
Exactly. It could be anywhere, but
Okay, so to simplify this, I don't want to lose viewers because they already might have a little concern that the game isn't exciting enough, and we'll get into that in a second
whatever.
too.
I'm not going to convince those people. This is for the passionate followers, Jeff. So let me go back to G and stop interrupting me.
Okay.
This is my damn show. So Group G has Germany,
Yep.
amazing. Portugal, dipping, going
Yep.
into the World Cup. They were dipping. They tied
Because
Israel
because
in
of
a-
injuries or because of They
No,
have no skill, or
they're
what's the
just
deal?
not that good. They're just not that good. They have like one of the top three players in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo,
What is
who
Pele
is
doing? Pele's out there, right?
Group A, Pele. So no, Cristiano Ronaldo is probably one of the best players in the world, but the rest of the team is fairly bad. Now the third place team is African, and it's Ghana. And Ghana knocked the U.S. out of the last World Cup in not controversial fashion. They deserve to win. They played better than the U.S. And then you've got U.S.
So,
So
do we even deserve to be there? Do we
yes,
deserve to be in this group of death? Shouldn't we be in A or B or somewhere, maybe in the minor leagues, a triple A? We don't. Soccer's not our national pastime. It's not our
so
sport.
shut up. So here's the places. Here's the places that they could have been. They could have been in A, where Mexico is, but they're not. They could have been in, oh, I don't know, group. No, they deserve a hard group, and here's why. The U.S. is a progression of soccer playing nation. You're right. They haven't dominated any international tournaments unless you're counting the women's team, which is one of the top two or three in the world. But the U.S., if they can get through this group,
Yeah.
that bodes well for the rest of the tournament because G will play H in the next round. So if they could get through, hold on, let me do the H symbol. I think that's an H.
Yeah. This
Sort.
makes for good video. This is perfect.
Because you don't have you don't have a graphics package. I don't think you're going to bleed. Are you going to bleed in the groups? Are you going to actually
No,
show
this is
what we're
just
talking about?
this is a Life of Play podcast. We're just talking about your passion here and what people get excited about.
All right. Well, here's what I like about the World Cup. Enough about me waxing poetic about the groups.
Okay.
What I like is actually going to the World Cup, and I hope to do that because soccer is the international language. You can go anywhere in the world, and there's two things that this sort of applies to. You can wear a Red Sox hat almost anywhere in the world, and somebody will talk about it. But even better is talking about soccer, football, because all these nations, remember what I said, 2 years ago, they started qualifying for this tournament. And after 2 years, you've built up a lot of stories, and after however many
How
World
often do they do this World Cup thing?
Well, it's every 4 years, but you qualify. The qualifying rounds can take 2 to 3 years. So it's actually
Holy cow. Okay.
it starts when it ends. It starts when it ends.
So the World Cup is the Olympics of soccer.
No. The Olympics is a scam. The Olympics is a horrible. The Olympics is a waste of time compared to soccer. This is passionate because it's centered on one sport.
Isn't soccer an Olympic sport, though?
It is, but you usually have youth players who play at the Olympic level because FIFA, the Federation of International Football Associations, is more powerful than the Olympic Association, which is kind of crazy to say, but it is.
Okay.
So FIFA controls where players go and what they can do. So the Olympics is not a big deal. The U.S. has done well in the Olympics. You know, Nigeria has done well in the Olympics. They would never even sniff. God, I wish I had shaved before this interview. I'm so sorry.
It's perfect video.
I'm
You're coming off Movember, which is also international.
I'm so sorry.
So
anyhow, this is a big deal because everybody cares about it, and it really is.
So cut to the chase. When does it kick off? When do people start watching these games?
So the spectacle begins today, actually, because
people will be
this
playing today after this draw.
People will be betting on games today.
Oh well. I mean, hypothetically, I guess if you could wager on sporting events, that's what you might do. But
no, so here's. I mean, I don't have to go through the whole schedule. People can kind of find that. But
give us the first couple American games.
Well, I think I didn't I? They're in trouble. The U.S. is sort of in trouble.
No, but the dates. When do they play?
Oh, let me call that up while we're waxing poetic. So you know, while I'm doing that, I would just say. And so many people, every 4 years, they fall in love with soccer, and I think that's great. I really do. I think it's wonderful because you can follow the U.S. There's going to be some other stories. Brazil, obviously a beautiful country with lots of beautiful people who play beautiful football. They actually call it the beautiful game because the Brazilians in the 1970s reinvented the way you played, keeping the ball in the air, keeping the ball moving very quickly. And Brazil's going to have to win this thing, right? I mean, Brazil
Are they
is
expected? I mean, if they don't win, is it a disappointment to them?
Oh, it's huge because think about it. They're spending 10 to 15 billion on this tournament.
Okay. And is it hosted in Brazil?
Say again?
Where are the games hosted? Where do they play?
They're all over. There's
Okay.
I
So
think
you
there's
can have a match over in the UK and matches over in Spain and matches over in Brazil and matches here in the US.
Oh, were you raised by wolves? No, everything's in Brazil.
That's
All
what
the,
I'm saying. Well, where are these matches? Give me a country. I don't care about a particular stadium. If you're going to say, "Oh, it's in Sao Paulo" or something,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. The first game will be in São Paulo. Oh, why? See, I knew websites were going to let me down today.
Well, the internet's a fad. That's the problem. Unlike soccer, I mean football, which has been around for how long? People have been doing this since they were putting heads through the rings in the Coliseum.
I hope you'll call me back when we can talk about netball and rounders, because that's where the true sporting passion is. Netball and rounders.
What's your prediction for this World Cup? Give us the prediction, and then we'll sign off and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy, and I'd have to run through it to make sure I'm not contradicting myself. But both groups are so easy for Brazil and Argentina. You've got to throw Germany, Italy, and Spain, into the mix. So it's going to be one of those. It's going to be two of those five teams, or four of those five teams in the last semifinals, and. When the tournament really gets interesting, and this is when people might want to tune in, is July 1st. That's when all...
It goes for half a year?
Oh my gosh, Jeff, it goes a month. It's a month. You can handle this. It's not that big a deal.
You said July. Are you saying January?
Yeah. July 1st is when it gets interesting. That's when the elimination games start.
That's 7 months from now.
Right. Well, what's your rush?
Do they play up until then, or they just do a draw now and then they start playing in July?
Jeff, the next time you do a show, you should show prep first. It's so important to do show prep.
You were my show prep. I thought you were bringing to the table a lot of information about this football game.
Game number 1 of this whole tournament is Thursday, June 12th.
Oh, so it starts in June. All right, so the selection is now, this is almost like the Tour de France, where they pick the course in October and then they start cycling in July. That's perfect.
No, they start playing. They started playing 2.5, 3 years ago, and it'll all end when it's supposed to end.
So June is where we're going. We should do another interview at the beginning of June just to see if you've changed your mind about Peru winning this whole thing. So I want to thank you for being on a Life of Play podcast, and we'll chat sometime soon in the future. Get rid of that mustache. Adam Zand.
Wait, is this going on the internet?
It will be at some point.
I thought this was just you and me talking.
Oh, no, I had to record this.
Okay.
How do people find you if they want to find you? Just look for the mustache?
They can come to my house or online. No one you know, all spelled out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I think Instagram it's so beautiful what I do on Instagram.
Well, it's an art. It's an art form. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Adam Zand, thank you for being on Life of Play podcast. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.